present anybody when you're doing research in any topic, we invited and we asked them to present their findings so that the researcher gets a kind of an input from the audience and they can also develop the topic in better way. So if there are students, please contact me. I'll be very happy to host you. To introduce Amey Kinjawadekar is currently pursuing his post-graduation in AIHC, that is Engineering and Display Culture and Archaeology at Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Mumbai. His research focuses on culture, folk traditions and history of the Western Ghats, especially of Goan. He has presented papers at various academic platforms and contributes regularly to Goan Varta and Satiya Devi on topics related to cultural heritage and history of Goan. A multilingual writer, public speaker, he has appeared on DD Goa and All India Radio. He is also involved in a community-based historical trade initiative called Parikrama. That's what we all know. We are part of that Parikrama, aimed at promoting local history and awareness. Thank you very much. I won't take much of your time. I will hand over there is no mic because this is such a small group. So I just ask Amey to start this.
I am very much thankful to CSMC for hosting me and giving me this opportunity and this platform to present my research. So, almost 3 years ago, this journey started, like exploring Goa, different parts of Goa, different villages, and I came across one pattern. And that pattern is, with sacrifice, a person can attain a divinity. So here, today, the topic which we are exploring, from mortal to immortal, how a mortal human being can transform into immortal being. How, like certain case studies we are going to explore, where Goan humans, they have transformed from ordinary to divinity. So this process and different case studies we are going to explore today in this presentation. So first of all, I welcome all of you for coming here and being part of this discussion. We have great scholars and researchers across Goa, and I am very much thankful to them. And of course, this is a discussion, I would say, because I want feedback from all of you. Yes, let's start. So Victor Turner, a popular British cultural anthropologist, he has said, the passage from lower to higher status is through a limbo of statuslessness. So this statuslessness from lower to higher, this passage that we are trying to explore today, how an ordinary woman becomes a divine goddess. So a divinization of woman in Goa reflects a unique intersection of folklore, memory and religious practice. Unlike text-based religious traditions, many village goddesses originate from local narratives of sacrifice, tragic death or other liminal experiences. These stories are preserved through oral traditions and gradually expressed in rituals and worship, leading to the elevation of these women into a divine figure. So this process not only honors their suffering but also reinforces social values such as sacrifice, chastity, protection while preserving community history. So different case studies we are going to explore today. So my research questions for this particular research were: what social and cultural historical conditions contribute to the divinization of women in Goa? How do incidents of sacrifice, tragic death and liminality influence the transformation of mortal woman into a village goddess? And what are the values embodied by these deified women and how do they shape gender roles and social expectations within the Goan society? These were my research questions, and the methodology which I used here is a qualitative research approach where ethnographic fieldwork, oral history, fieldwork and site-based investigation, and other interpretive and comparative analysis. This is what methodology I have used for this particular research. So here, this is my hypothesis. Divinization of woman in Goa emerges primarily from incidents of sacrifice, liminality, rather than classical religious canon. The elevation of mortal woman into a goddess is a mechanism of social compensation for her tragic death. The transformation of woman into goddess regularizes specific gendered virtues such as sacrifice, chastity, motherhood, and protection, thereby shaping behavioral expectations within the community. So, my first case study is of Beki from it is a goddess Mandodari. So, the word, as we all know, the Beki, the word originated from Betta, a Kannada word which means hill or mountain. So, the area also is, a mountainous, a hilly area. And the village is located in the Forta Antruz Mahal, what we call. So, there is a legend, nice legend of goddess Mandodari. So, according to local tradition, Bedki village once suffered from a lake that frequently overflowed, destroying fields and nearby settlements. So, the villagers repeatedly built a burn to contain the water. But after multiple tries, every time they failed. So, believing that the human sacrifice was necessary to build the burn, some villagers plotted a sacrifice of a young boy. His name was Narayan, and he was a son of a Padye Brahmin widow. So the Narayan was lured to a lake with bunch of ripe bananas. So as he was led into the water, he began to drown. His elder sister, whose name was Manda, she rushed to save him. She jumped into the water, tried to rescue his brother, but she too was pulled under, and both the children they died tragic death. Overcome with grief, their widowed mother cursed the village, declaring that rice would not grow for 24 years. The curse was believed to have brought hardship upon Betki village, and people started deserting the place, and it led to the partial abandonment of that particular village. So, in the year 1565, when the members of Fatte Gaonkar family they migrated from Verna to this region, when they came to this place, they were so pleased by the natural beauty of Betki village that they planned to settle there. But when they were made aware of the curse, then they went to this particular widow and they requested her multiple times to lift that curse. After multiple requests, she decides to reduce this curse to 24 hours. So still today, there is a tradition which is observed in the village where out of 365 days, one day they do not cook anything, not a single grain is cooked in the entire village, and they do not eat anything within the area of that particular village, within the boundaries. So if you want to eat something, you can go out and eat. Okay, this is permitted, but you cannot eat inside the village. So this was the condition. So it is still is in practice, and the Mandodari it became the goddess of village. This is the garane of that particular village, the traditional paramparik garane. तू मूळ माया सातेर माया मंडोदर नारायण नारबांदो तो पूर्वस तो ग्रामपुरीस थळाचो आकारी निरंकारी रवळू भूतनाथ तरंग काठियेचो अवतारी पुरुष जात जल्मी गाडवस आईस तो फट्यावस पंचमाया बारावस एक चित्तार एक मतार येऊन दोन्ही मायांचे एक चित मत करून धड शिम डाळून काटोकुटो मूण करून आयज जी आम्ही आरंभ करतात ती कसलीच अडीअडचणी न येता बरे भाशेन पार पाड अन्नाचे डोंगर कर दुधाचे सागर कर सगळ्यांचे कल्याण कर आणि बरे कर is the traditional garane of this village which mentions this particular goddess Mandodari. The story I explained, and I also welcome Sir Rajendra Kerkar. He is my guru and he has come here, so I am very much thankful to you, sir, for coming here and blessing this occasion.
So this is the particular linga which is the representation of Narayan Dev of Betki, and this is the tank which was constructed, and for this tank, these two brother and sister, they died. So later they became the local deities. So my second case study is of Satiya Devi, which is from Naibag, from Pernem Taluka. So Satiya Devi from Pernem is remembered as a local traditional in local tradition as a woman who sacrificed her life and transformed into a goddess. So there are two versions of her story. Both I'll try to explain here. So according to first version, there was a great war and which claimed lot of lives. And after that, almost 500 women resolved to commit sati. Among them was Satiya Devi. So she was pregnant at that time. As she entered the village to follow her husband, the water started receding. The river did not allow her to enter into water. Okay, so people understood that river would not accept the pregnant woman carrying the unborn life. So later, what she did, Satya Devi took a sickle, she cut open her womb and removes the child, and then she performs sati. And that son became a famous popular deity, which is Mulvir. So according to another second version of the story, there was before leaving for war, the Satya Devi's husband, he told her that if the coconut she grated with the sickle, if ever turned red, then it would signify his death in the battle. So one day after grating coconut, she saw that it turned the color of blood. So understanding the omen, she used the same sickle which she used, for a grating of coconut, and she cut opens her womb and removes the unborn child and entered water to perform sati. So this is the particular that stone slab which is worshipped in the name of Satya Devi. So it is the legend that almost 500 women committed sati there, and that's why the son, which was in the womb of Satya Devi, is also known as Patshe Satiyancho Mulvir. So this is what the saying is still there, and also in the memory of her sacrifice, like lot of traditions are still there. Like into many families still today in the region, they don't use any sickle for cutting any flesh or meat. So this is still there. Uh, so this is the place where 499 and the 500 was Satya Devi. So this is the place, and this is Sri Mulvir, the son of Satya Devi, is very much popular deity. So my third case study is of Kaal Sati of Keri. Malay ge Satiye, Kalay ge Dhediye. And multiple, in the Keri village, there is a long oral tradition of Sakarat, which is sung during the days of Shigmotsav. So there the Shok Arat or Shoka Arati, the song of sorrow, so which is still there. So let me tell you this story of sorrow of Kaal Sati. So Kaal Sati in Keri is associated with the story of Lakhmo Gaonkar, who was the husband of this brave lady, so who lived in the village near the temple of Sateri Kebai. So according to the local tradition, the Lakhmo participated in the village hunt. So there was a Gao Bhoni, which was like the tradition existed where hunting was a common practice. For the ritual hunt, he went to the jungle. He killed a wild boar. Some versions also say that it was a deer, but a lot of sources they told me that it is a wild boar. So in the struggle, he suffered severe wounds, and he tore open his stomach. So uh, this wild boar, he tore his stomach, and refusing to surrender his injuries, he tied his headgear around his stomach, around his wounds, and he came back to the village. And after this hunted animal was got, and it was kept in it was brought to the place which is known as Dukar Kond in Keri, and where it was washed and prepared for the communal feast. Despite of these conditions, Lakmo sat down to eat. His wife, she prepared food, and her name was Malai or Mala. She served him food. He took a single morsel before collapsing and dying from his wounds. So a funeral pyre was prepared. The Malai Sati accompanied her husband's body to the cremation ground. Here, a lot of references we find in the this Song of Sorrow, which is Sakarat, where there are a lot of references like Keriye गावात zakat nahi saukara, Keriye गावात zakat nahi fulkara. So all these commodities which are essential for the ritual of sati, all those they removed the taxes, they lifted taxes just to there should be smooth conduct of this sati. So that's why they made it easy to have this practice, so that they invited all those sellers and they lifted all those taxes. So these are the also we find the references. Also, there is one nice story here where a lot of people from Zarme, which is close by village, so they started coming because it was something very different, like somebody is performing sati. So to see that particular ritual, the people from Zarme, they started coming, and while coming, they also carried food with them, so that they will have proper lunch and all, and they will they wanted to see that. So it was not some sort of entertainment or kind of thing. So that's why she was very angry looking at this, and she cursed them. Okay, so this is one mention we find in the Sakarat. So later on the funeral pyre, Malai Sati accompanied her husband's body. She circumambulated the pyre 4 times, and 5th time she entered the flame to join her husband to the death. Later, according to local traditions, as per local tradition, it is considered that a true sati is untouched by the flames of fire. So the flames of fire will not affect her at all. So as flames rose around her, Malaya Sati was called upon to prove her purity and chastity. So they asked her, and then she displayed one by one lot of ornaments, starting from the fati to the anklets. Everything she showed, the padar, and it was untouched by fire. So which surprised them, and then they started worshipping her. They considered her a true sati, and then the worship of this particular deity started. So this is the sculpture of Kaal Sati, also the Veera Mahasati in archaeological term. And this is the temple of Satiri Kebai in Keri Sattari. Then the 4th case study here is of Masana Devi from Norway. So there was an elderly tribal Gauda woman. She was living in very poverty. She was dependent on one cow, which was her source of livelihood. So without that cow, she had nothing with her. So everything was dependent on that particular one cow. So one day a tiger entered village and he killed the cow, destroying her only means of survival. Overcome with grief, she died. The moment she saw that her cow was getting killed, she died. In local belief, the tiger felt remorse, and even he also died at the same place. So the woman was deified as Masana Devi, and shrine is located in the Masan area, a cremation or burial ground, and is associated with death and liminal states. So regarded as a guardian woman, other woman who died tragic death, she takes care of them, and the such deaths are locally termed as Augat. So this is the thing. Another story from the Narve village. Actually, this Narve village was earlier known as Hindole village. When the Lord Saptakoteshwar from Ponne Narve, he came to this place Hindole. So it became a new Narve or Nave Narve. So this is that Vagro Dev who is worshipped in the same shrine of this Masana Devi. So the 5th case study is of Veerangana from Norway, the same area, Nave Norway. So according to local tradition, an ancestor of Veer family is sacrificed his life for the welfare of village and prosperity of its crops. So his death was remembered as an act performed for the community. After his sacrifice, his wife is believed to have immolated herself. A memorial was later established in their memory. So their story is, continues to be remembered during annual Dashera festival, where a member of Virik family observes fast, and ash guard is placed on his abdomen, and it is cut into pieces. So the ritual is symbolically, this ancestral sacrifice. It tries to, it is just a recreation of that particular sacrifice. So on Dashera, the seven Tarangs visit this memorial of which is just next to the Ravanath Mahalakshmi temple in Norway. So this is that Veerangana who also died along with his husband. So she is worshipped in the village, and he is the person who is the last person of that Veer family who is continuing this tradition. And I've got a chance to visit this place with our Rajendra sir. So I feel like, it was one of the memorable experience to be there and interview him and, listen to his stories. So this is that ash guard which is cut into pieces on Dashera. So this is what the process of deification actually is regarding a Goan woman, uh, and particular deification in Goa. So a woman, she dies, either liminal death or sacrificial death. It becomes a oral memory. It turns into ritualization. Some sort of ritual starts getting associated with it. Later, she becomes a village goddess, and it also, lays some moral ideal on the people, and it becomes a social regulation as well. So how it is, let me explain here. So a woman dies tragic death. It's the starting event. Later the event is preserved through oral memory. So we have Sakarat, we have a lot of other oral stories. Then the ritual practice emerges. Some fast, some taboo, some the annual festival is there. And then the deceased woman is gradually deified as a village goddess. Her story becomes a moral model. Like women should be, they should maintain purity, devotion, endurance. They should be, they should perform such sacrifices, is what the expectation, the society lays upon them. The ritual is linked to her regulate behavior. Okay, so food taboos, tools avoided, like lot of things, these are just to, regulate her behavior. And later this narrative strengthens community identity and social cohesion. So trauma is converted into a sacred authority or social order, where, the woman is, laid upon certain rules and regulations, where, this becomes a social condition where their act is limited. So this divinization of woman in Goa often arises from the incidents of sacrifice, tragic death, or other liminal situations, rather than from classical religious texts. When the woman dies such circumstances, her story is preserved through oral traditions and gradually expressed through rituals, annual observances, and local worship. Over time, she is elevated to the status of village goddess. The process serves as a form of social recognition and a compensation for her suffering, because she has, sacrificed her life for the sake of society, or, for the overall good of the society. So it become in becoming a goddess, she comes to the represent values such as sacrifice, chastity, motherhood, endurance, and protection. So these values influence social expectation within the community. At the same time, deification acts as a way for villagers to preserve, remember their local history, transforming tragic events into enduring cultural and moral frameworks. So this was my conclusion, and I am very much thankful to our Rajendra sir, because all these stories, he was the person who exposed me to this field, and, I heard these stories first from him only. So I am very much thankful to him, and also all the here we have one of the renowned person, Lakshman Pitre sir, who was also director of our museum. So he has also done extensive work. We have our Tejas Bhai, we have a lot of other scholars here, we have Vidya ma'am. So I am very much thankful to all of you, and I would love, feedback and discussion here, so that I learn something from all of you.